name is Olive, and it's always a pleasure to have you on board now. Let's kick off today's edition. The Prime Minister, Dr. Justin Nsengiyumva, while officially opening the Inclusive FinTech Forum 2026, emphasized that both in Rwanda and globally, there is a need to build financial systems that leave no one behind. Adam Squizera kicks us off tonight.
The forum featured discussions on strategies and policies that African countries should adopt in order to establish strong and resilient financial systems. The CEO of the Kigali International Financial Center, KIFC, Hortense Mudenge, noted that mobile phones and digital platforms are continuing to expand access to financial services, a progress made possible through collaboration among all relevant stakeholders.
Financial innovation must translate into real economic opportunity for people, for businesses, and for nations. The Inclusive FinTech Forum reflects the power of partnership. It's built through collaboration between the Kigali International Financial Center, the National Bank of Rwanda, the Global Finance and Technology Network, and our Ministry of ICT and Innovation. And most importantly, alongside a growing ecosystem of partners committed to advancing inclusive finance.
The governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, Benair Soraya Hakuziyaremye, said that the global financial sector is undergoing major technology-driven transformations and stressed the need for countries to adopt supportive policies to keep the pace with these changes.
Global statistics tell a powerful story. Over 75% of adults now have access to a financial account, up from just 50% a decade ago. Sub-Saharan Africa remains the global leader in mobile money, with more than 600 million registered accounts, while digital payments continue to grow at double-digit rates. This is proof that when technology meets the right policy environment, financial inclusion can leapfrog decades of traditional development.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Justin Nsengiyumva, highlighted that over the past 20 years, Rwanda has made significant progress in building infrastructure that supports the financial sector. He added that today financial inclusion is increasingly possible due to technological advancement.
Public services have been digitized through platforms such as Irembo, improving efficiency, transparency, and citizen access. Electronic transactions increasingly dominate retail payments, strengthening financial inclusion and formal economic participation. Today, 92% of adults in Rwanda have access to financial services, reflecting the steady growth of our fintech ecosystem. Through digital innovation, a farmer in a rural village can receive payment instantly. A young entrepreneur can access credit through a mobile device. A small business can connect to global markets from anywhere in the world.
The forum brought together about 3,000 participants, including leaders from various sectors such as finance and technology. During the event, the Prime Minister, Dr. Justin Nsengiyumva, also visited the exhibition stands showcasing innovations in financial technology. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Still on this forum, leaders of the Kigali International Financial Center say that if Africa fully harmonizes financial technology systems across the continent, Rwanda is well positioned to become a central hub for those operations. They note that the progress made so far provides strong confidence, citing Rwanda's significant efforts in building a solid financial and technology system. Discussions on the second day of the Inclusive FinTech Forum focused on how African countries can work together to bridge the development gap between the continent and the rest of the world. The Chief Executive Officer of the KIFC, Hortense Mudenge, emphasized that collective progress is achievable when each country contributes its strength. She pointed to Rwanda's success in easing cross-border engagement and strengthening cooperation with other African nations as well practical example.
Being successful at the aspect of immigration. You know the process when you're moving to jurisdictions. There's a passport, there's a visa. almost everything is harmonized. Yes, you need to have a document. Oh, even the costs, if you're looking for a visa, relatively the same. The process for how you have to get about it, it's relatively the same. It's quite standardized, actually, across. And so it's a question of how do we introduce that into what we're saying today in terms of when it comes to licensing. How about a passport that also systemizes everything to enable you to move from Rwanda, Nigeria, Jersey, Nairobi, Ghana? It would ease up the process even for the investor or the founders. And then even going beyond that, how do we also now introduce something similar in terms of investment? Because we're talking about capital deployment and transactions. So how do we systemize the process and harmonize it? The same way we've been successful at the level of immigration. So we really don't have to replicate the wheel. It's about how do we sort of, and as ecosystem enablers, bring our regulators together to push for that agenda.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Nairobi Financial Center, Daniel Mainda, noted that Africa must begin developing homegrown solutions to its unique challenges, starting with stronger collaboration among neighboring countries.
Looking at us, I mean, a population of Kenya, 50 million now, but if we look at population of East Africa, which is 300 million, so Hortense and I now can now face the world and say, hey, we have something good going on here. We have critical mass. And we can create now proper use case studies whereby, I mean, it's a home run here. So we're right in the ecosystem of ensuring that not only Kenya, but also the continent is also at the forefront of now championing all these initiatives, which make us as a continent competitive.
Now, the Managing Director of InterSwitch, Akim Lawal, which enables digital payment interoperability, stated that given Rwanda's strong commitment to promoting investment, Africa lacks little except a shift in mindset.
Positioned in that regard. Apart from the financial center that you're building, you do have some level of political influence in the continent, and helping to create the standards for Pan-African players to operate, not just country players, but Pan-African players to operate, would be critical.
Now, moving ahead, the Minister of Education, Joseph Nsengimana, at the FinTech Forum on Tuesday highlighted that Rwanda's education sector has made significant progress in integrating technology to prepare students for the job market. He noted that this progress is largely based on aligning school curricula with the needs of the labor market. Adam Squizera has the report.
Discussions on the first day of the forum held in Kigali brought together professionals from technology, education, finance and business sectors. They reviewed the progress made so far and explored ways to bridge the remaining gaps in financial technology, particularly across Africa. One of the opening discussions focused on how education sector can effectively integrate technology in order to better prepare our students for employment. Alice Mutesi, the Chief Strategy Officer at the Kigali International Financial Center, KIFC, emphasized that professors should be placed at the forefront and supported to keep up with the changes taking place in the labor market.
Who produces this? Who helps us give us skills? It's these professors. So every time we're talking about young people, you know, even myself, I talk about young people. When I go to universities to create awareness for career guidance, they give me a room full of young people. But these young people are being trained by professors, by lecturers. So how do we now also start thinking about, because I mean, if you're talking about curriculum development, the professor needs to know there's something that's changing. How do they impact that in what they're doing, in what they're providing, in what they're teaching? So
the discussions also highlighted the role of the private sector in creating opportunities for young people.
Because when everyone talks about private sector, people always think of larger organizations like Ant, Alibaba, Microsoft, Google. How many people can they hire? If we really look at the data in any single country, it's always SMEs who are the force hiring the most talent in this market. How we can support them to understand the importance of our talent and also to integrate into this talent topic so that they can perform their role to help the local talent to find a way, and also with the talent joining these SMEs, these startups, there will be more opportunities for them to grow bigger.
Minister of Education Joseph Nsengimana pointed out that Rwanda has already made important strides in integrating technology in education, particularly through updated curricula designed to equip students with the technological skills needed in today's job market.
What we need to keep in mind is that there is a lot to be done to prepare our young people for the reality they're going to live in. First of all, as you know, the Rwanda government has been investing in making sure that our schools are connected to internet. We now have over 83% of our schools are connected. The second part is that we've ensured that in all our schools we are teaching ICT. It started as simply ICT, but now we're expanding to also include the new technologies such as AI. What does AI, how is AI used in schools? What are the benefits? What are the opportunities for them? So we include this to making sure that our children, as they go through the education system, they're actually being exposed to the technology that's being invented today, because this will be what they were going to work with as they go into the workforce. So this is how we're ensuring that not only are they aware of these technologies, but are being empowered and upskilled to be able to use it.
The forum will be officially opened on Wednesday and brings together senior government officials, investors, and entrepreneurs working in Africa's financial sector. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Now moving ahead, the President of the Supreme Court of Rwanda, Domitille Mukantabana, called on land registrars who took their oath this Wednesday to work together to finding lasting solutions to land-related challenges and ensure proper land use in order to maximize productivity. Across the country, citizens frequently raise concerns about various land issues which sometimes lead to disputes. One major problem is failure to comply with proper land use regulations, with cases where master plans are not respected. Dr. Mireille Biraro, one of the sworn-in land titles registrars, stated that their primary mission is to promptly resolve citizens' land-related complaints and address issues concerning land use nationwide. To ensure these goals are achieved, the Chief Justice urged them to rely on their professional experience and work collaboratively, avoiding mistakes that could prevent them from fulfilling their responsibilities. On March 4th, the Cabinet appointed Dr. Mireille Biraro, Jean-Pierre Twizeye-Yezu, and Vedaste Wayisenga as land title registrars in the Ministry of Environment of Rwanda. To other matters, in Jamaica, the secondary school Ankovi High School, which had suspended some classes due to the destruction of 6 important classrooms, has resumed those lessons after the Rwanda Defense Forces repaired the facilities. The classrooms have now been reinforced to better withstand climate change. Ankovi High School is a large school with more than 1,700 students. It is located in St. James Parish, one of the areas that was severely affected by the hurricane called Marisa. This school, one of the most important in the northwestern part of the area, nearly closed permanently when the hurricane destroyed many of its classrooms, according to the school principal, Dr. Laverne E. Stewart.
These SMEs, these startups, there will be more opportunities for them to grow bigger.
On the day the hurricane came, yes, we would have had some essential or emergency staff here, like the persons who do security services, but everybody else would be at home. And it came, it did what it had to do, and the following morning, which would be the Wednesday, nobody could come to school because at that point, most of the roads were impassable. Because even from where I live, I tried, but I couldn't get down. No, first, I didn't try on the Wednesday because I had to first check on my family to see how they were doing. But even a person that would have been as close as just up in the town would not have been able to come here either because we had a lot of fallen trees and all of those things.
As a result, tents were set up to temporarily host some students whose classrooms had been destroyed, while others had to find space whenever possible, including the nearby institutions. The most worrying issue was the computer laboratory, because once it was damaged, all the students had to completely stop studying information technology.
The help was so quick, it was so effective, because we are still waiting for the repairs to start, but within days we had the container repaired and ready, and we have been able to move the students back into the space. And it is, as I said, highly effective and even better than we had working with before. So we are very, very grateful for all that you have done.
Now, Colonel Moses Kaigamba and the engineering contingent of the Rwanda Defense Forces involved in relief operations in the country arrived at the school to help students and teachers, applauded the Rwandan soldiers as the principal, Dr. Lavran Eastward, presented a certificate of appreciation to Colonel Moses Kaigamba, who led the team. So far, life is gradually returning to normal, especially in the areas where the Rwanda Defense Forces are helping repair the damage caused by the Hurricane Melissa, which destroyed property worth billions of dollars. The hurricane left 6 parishes, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, and St. Anne badly affected. Now to other matters, women working in the field of diplomacy in Rwanda have launched a platform that brings them together called the Women in Diplomacy Rwanda Network. It includes ambassadors representing their countries who say they appreciate the cooperation between Rwanda and their respective nations and are pleased to now have a platform that will further strengthen their collaboration. As part of celebrating International Women's Day, diplomats representing their countries in Rwanda gathered together and established a platform that will serve as a space for exchanging ideas and expanding their cooperation, as explained by Jennifer Stockhill, the British Deputy High Commissioner to Rwanda.
And so I'm really excited to have kind of got some energy behind this, and now some other women as well, to help me pull this network together. I do want to be clear that we don't want it to be a British initiative. That is definitely not the point. So I'm really excited to say that we've started growing a little organising committee for our new network. And I want to say that some of the new members are Maggie from Poland, if she wants to say hi. Temitope from Nigeria, if she's here. Yeah. Ivona from Canada. And she can't be here today, but Sophia from Hungary as well has also agreed to help us try to charge this forward. We're hoping to make the most of it, and it's not meant to be anything too formal, but meant to provide a bit of a space where we can support each other, share practical advice. And in the future, we're hoping to kick off a few things, more in-person events such as this, more kind of mentorship schemes. We're trying to explore whether we can do something cross-mission, because some of us obviously have very senior diplomats to look up to, but some of us don't, and to try to also have those career conversations with people that don't have a direct role in controlling your career, because that can sometimes be a little bit awkward as well. We want to add some support to new arrivals, so that's one we think is quite important, particularly for women who are arriving into a mission with less support than others. And we want to engage with some of the women's networks in Rwanda, and for us that's a really important part of this. We think it's key to kind of work with others on how we drive forward the agenda for women in that more kind of global sense. So I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's kind of been supporting so far, and I really encourage other volunteers still. This is the time to shape the network and to make it into something genuinely useful and joyful for all of us. I did like when we had some early engagement with the women ambassadors. Joy was a big theme that they kept calling out, and that it's very nice to have a good time with your female colleagues. And then finally, because this launch sits alongside International Women's Day, we wanted tonight to reflect this year's theme, which is rights, justice, and action, and to start the network as we mean to continue, grounded in solidarity, connected to the leadership of Rwandan women, and focused on action as well as conversation. So I hope tonight is the beginning of many collaborations, friendships, and unexpected alliances.
Now, this network will bring together women working in diplomacy, international organizations, and national institutions so they can share experiences, support each other in their work, and promote stronger partnerships. The ambassador of Zimbabwe to Rwanda, Charity Manyiruke, commended the significant contribution made by women in different countries.
Is both timely and significant, as it represents a shared commitment to strengthening the role and voice of women in shaping international relations and global governance. Diplomacy has long been one of the most important instruments through which nations pursue peace, cooperation, and development. For many years, however, the diplomatic arena was largely dominated by men. Yet history has clearly demonstrated that when women participate meaningfully in diplomacy, negotiations, and peace processes, the outcomes are often more inclusive, more balanced, and more sustainable. Across the world today, women are increasingly assuming leadership roles as ambassadors, negotiators, policy advisors, scholars, and mediators. Their contributions are transforming the practice of diplomacy by bringing diverse perspectives, collaborative approaches, and innovative solutions to complex global challenges. The establishment of women in diplomacy is therefore a very important milestone. It creates a platform through which women can strengthen professional networks, share experiences, mentor emerging leaders, and contribute to shaping diplomatic thought and practice in an increasing interconnected world. Hannah has alluded to this, and I like that you talked about welcoming new diplomats and inducting them. That is a very important aspect because, you know, many times people are new to a country, new to a place, new to a culture, and, you know, when we hold each other's hands, you know, you make each other person comfortable. Equally important, initiatives such as this inspire the next generation. When young women see women serving with distinction in diplomacy and international leadership, they are encouraged to pursue similar paths and to contribute their talents to the service of their nations and the international community. I would like to say well done, British Embassy, because apparently this evening I could see it happening. I witnessed it myself, you know, where interactions are going on, and you have other diplomats asking you, so what do you really do, you know? And what does the dean, you know, what do you do as dean? You know, they might know what the ambassador do because they are sent by the ambassadors. So, but we interact, we network, and, you know, no hierarchy like it is this evening. Allow me, therefore, to commend all those who have worked tirelessly to bring this initiative into existence. Your efforts demonstrate a clear vision and a strong belief that empowering women in diplomacy is not only a matter of equity, but also a strategic investment in stronger and more effective international cooperation.
Now to other matters, more than 9 billion Rwandan francs have been provided to over 5,300 people, including refugees and Rwandans living near refugee camps across the country. The support is intended to help them develop income-generating activities based on business proposals they submitted. Under this arrangement, the government pays part of the required funding, while the beneficiaries contribute to the remaining portion themselves. Those who have received this government support include individuals engaged in income-generating activities such as trade, agriculture, and livestock farming in 11 districts across Rwanda. Among the beneficiaries are also those who received loans amounting to about 1 billion Rwandan francs, with the government subsidizing 30% of the loan. The beneficiaries, including refugees, say the support has helped them find solutions for improving their livelihoods by creating income-generating activities. This support is delivered through the Jambere project under the ministry in charge of emergency management.
The cost for the matching grant was 12 billion Rwandan francs, but currently BRD has managed to disperse 9.7 billion to participating financial institutions and later financial institutions dispersing funds to beneficiaries of matching grant, depending upon loan maturities. Currently, the last updates we have from BRD, I think the disbursement is at 90% because the project is ending in this October 2026. But the last getting funds of matching grant
it is June this 2026.
Now, the Jamberi project will run for 7 years with a budget exceeding 120 billion Rwandan francs. In the 6 years since its launch, the project has supported a total of 5,358 refugees and residents living near camps. More than 9.7 billion Rwandan francs has been invested in the initiative. As a result, 22,331 jobs have been created for residents, while more than 1,300 others have been received training in entrepreneurship. To other matters, traders involved in virtual assets business, commonly known as cryptocurrency, in Rwanda and across Africa have welcomed the Cabinet's approval of a draft law regulating the sector. We have details.
Building participation.
Virtual assets business refers to investment in digital assets that exist only within technological systems where their value is also determined digitally. In this type of transaction, buyers and sellers do not necessarily need to know each other. They interact through digital platforms regardless of where they are located in the world. Robert Ford Nkusi, the country director of the cryptocurrency company Yellow Card, says the system helps remove many barriers commonly found in traditional financial transactions and money transfers.
The advantage is that the current system of moving monies is based on fiat, which means that a fluctuation of one fiat affects the transaction of your money value into another jurisdiction. Because stable coins are stable, that means that moving money from one jurisdiction to another, one, it is less costly. Secondly, it's more stable. That the other party is likely to receive the exact amount of value over a stretched period of time than it would be if you are transacting in fiat.
On March 4th, the Cabinet officially approved the draft law governing virtual assets business. Under the proposed framework, the Capital Market Authority will be responsible for supervising and regulating the sector. Meanwhile, the National Bank of Rwanda will intervene when virtual assets are converted into Rwandan francs based on the value determined by the Capital Market Authority. Norbert Haguma, the chairman of the Rwanda Blockchain Association, says there should be no concern about this type of business because the law will help protect investors once it is enacted.
I think it's extremely beneficial because now that the industry is regulated, it means that the people will be protected. So if somebody, like it happened in the past, wants to bring some kind of a scam, it will not be able to get approval by the regulator. So the primary role of regulation really is to protect the consumer, and this is what has been missing.
Matthew Guyereka, the CEO of RG Partners, who contributed ideas during the drafting process of the bill, says the topic is also expected to be widely discussed during the 3-day Inclusive FinTech Forum.
It tells investors that Rwanda has been thoughtful about potential risks and that it's now time to invest and to innovate. It is actually very important that this conversation is being brought into the Inclusive FinTech Forum of 2026 because we believe this is a forum to discuss innovation, regulation, and cyber risks that need to be circumvented and protected to ensure that investors are on a safe place. Yeah.
The Private Sector Federation ICT Chamber has also organized discussions bringing together experts involved in the virtual assets industry. Larry Cook, the head of legal counsel for Binance across Africa, commended Rwanda for continuing to lead in making policy decisions that support technological and financial innovation across the continent.
All I can say is that it's a good time for Africa. I think Rwanda mustn't underestimate the part that it plays for the entire continent to get to that level of crypto adoption that's necessary for Africa to really be a competitor globally. We already have the infrastructure, we have the talent, we have the creativity, we have the vibrancy in the market, and it's just about putting those pieces together. If that is adopted into the crypto space, I think it will really start opening up the market because you need more regulators across countries throughout Africa to be closer together, just like how you need more collaboration between private and public sector. So I think it's a great time, I think it's a good opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think in the next year we're going to see a really big boom in Africa.
While some countries still restrict cryptocurrency activities, Rwanda has now become the second country in the East African community, after Kenya, to approve a draft law regulating virtual assets businesses. Across Africa, traders operating in about 30 countries recorded virtual asset transactions worth approximately $125 billion in 2025. This brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for staying with us for this edition. Now, have a good night.